Hello everybody, my name is Jared and today I'm going to be reviewing for you Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon. Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon is one of the best games of all time, in my opinion. And I don't just say that because it was one of my childhood games, like a game from my childhood. I also really enjoyed it because it was a really good game. At the time, the graphics were amazing. It had a unique storyline, or a straightforward storyline. There was a lot of things in it that were unique, and it was just a really good game. And the story is this. So it picks up it doesn't pick up where the last Luigi's Mansion game picked off, but yeah. Anyways, so Professor Egan now lives in a place called Evershade Valley, where the ghosts there are good because they're controlled by this magical thingy or whatever called the Dark Moon. And one day, the Dark Moon completely shatters, causing the ghosts to become bad guys. And at this, Professor Egan gets Luigi to help him to repair the Dark Moon and make the ghosts good again. And that's it. That's the entire story. It's pretty straightforward. So I won't have to spend like 4 minutes summarizing the plot like I do in my movie reviews. It's been a while since I last did a game review, isn't it? So yeah, the story is pretty straightforward. So, what did I like about this game? Well, I liked it because it had a lot of unique things. And the first of those is the fact that instead of one mansion, it's 5 different mansions. And each mansion is completely different, except for the 5th one, but I'll get to that sooner or later. Anyways, so the first mansion is where Professor Egad lives, and it's basically just a mansion. Nothing too grand, but nothing too great either. The second are these 2 towers that are filled to the brink with a lot of plants, some being giant Venus flytraps that try to eat you. The third mansion is an old watch shop, an old clock repair shop, one of the 2, where you get to walk around on these giant clock gears. There's also an old mummy tomb down below. The 4th mansion is a cabin with icy caverns down below with a bunch of red crystals, and the 5th mansion is basically a combination of all of those other mansions, and it has a gateway to a ghost dimension. Sheesh. Another thing that I liked about this game, like probably going to be saying unique in this lot, is that there were a lot of different ghosts. And each of these ghosts was unique because they had different moves, different styles, and you needed to plan out different strategies to capture them. So it wasn't just the whole like, oh, look at this ghost, I better catch him. Like the first time you saw a new ghost, you had to figure out what his weaknesses were, what his strengths were, thus making it pretty cool. And the game was also pretty challenging at sometimes too, like the puzzles, for example. The puzzles were exactly what they should be in a video game. They were a little hard, but you could still solve them in under 5 minutes. And Alexa just got a new notification. Capturing ghosts is pretty entertaining too. Like, I know I already said that, but just hear me out on this little part. Sometimes you could be surrounded by a whole bunch of ghosts, like this one little level in the 5th mansion where you have to capture a total of 51 or 53, sometimes it varies, and you could use your little flashlight to blind a whole bunch of them at once, and you could even suck up a bunch of them at once. So that was really cool. And then there were the boss fights, and the boss fights were once again what they should be: good and entertaining and easy to beat on the first try if you were good at the game. I'll admit that I ended up failing at the first boss a lot. The first boss, okay, there are a total of 6 bosses, with the first 5 bosses being in the 5 mansions, and the 6th boss being King Boo, the bad guy of this whole story in his little ghost dimension. The first boss is a giant spider. The second boss is a staircase. The third boss is a clock. The 4th boss is an ice monster. And the 5th boss are a bunch of knights. And all of these things are possessed by ghosts, which is why a staircase and a clock can come to life at all. In the first one, you had to blow the spider up. The second one, you had to catch the staircase off guard. The third one wasn't really a clock coming to life, but you had to survive 12 rounds of ghosts, because, you know, there's 12 numbers on the clock. The 4th one, you had to chase the ice monster through a cave. The 5th one, the possessor ghost could turn himself into a bunch of clones and possess different knight suits at once. And then the King Boo boss fight was in his own dimension, where you had to run away from him and catch him off guard to allow him to get squashed by a giant spiky ball thing. So yeah, all of the boss fights were pretty good. And if I were to go on, this video would be too long because I do like this game. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the stuff that I did not like about the game. Starting with the most annoying aspect of it all, the Toad missions. Now, these missions were flat out annoying. Basically, what you had to do was that there was a Toad stuck in one of the mansions, and you had to bring him to a little teleporter thing to get him back to Professor Egad. And that sounds simple, but it's not, because the Toads are really, really annoying. They are flat out cowards in this thing, and they are so slow, making the level a lot longer than it should be. Like, if anything, you should be able to get it by in 5 minutes, but you can't because they're cowards. Whenever a ghost appears, the Toads will run around in circles, and for some reason they won't calm down, even though they know that the ghost has disappeared, so you have to blind them with the flashlight in order to get them to shut up. They're also afraid of simple things like puddles, and that is just bull crap, because it's been shown in the past that Toads can easily just swim throughout the entire oceans with ease, so it makes no sense that they're afraid of simple puddles. Another thing that annoyed me was the Polterpup missions. The Polterpup missions were fun, but you had to catch the dog like 3 times, so that wasn't really fun. Another thing I didn't like was the overused thing of locked doors. In almost every mansion, in almost every single new door you gotta get to, it's going to be locked. So you'll have to find a key to unlock that door. And eventually it just becomes a normal thing in the game, and it's annoying because you think that a locked door would lead to, Okay, you know what, scratch that. But yeah, the locked doors do get annoying. The first time I encountered a locked door in this game, I had to search for a key for a total of 10 minutes because it turned out that it was in a completely different room other than the one that I was searching for. And then it turns out the door after that door was locked too, so I had to go look for another key, which was also in a completely different room. Cheese and crackers. The last thing I want to talk about that I didn't like is the upgrading system. And the upgrading system is actually pretty slow. Each upgrade is expensive, and you don't get to choose which upgrade you have. And that is what I have to say about Luigi's Mansion 2. I really like this game. I think it's an awesome game, and I do think that it still holds up today. It does have its downs, such as the locked doors and the Toads, but those are easily replaced by the unique ghosts, the unique mansions, the unique boss fights. The game is just unique at all. And so, with that being said, I'm going to give this game an 8 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not leave a like? Consider subscribing down below, and I will see you in the next video. And I did this earlier before I said see you in the next video. Seriously though, see you in the next video.